Two moms, two marketers, two women new to the financial industry. They have a lot of questions. That's why they're bringing in financial experts to educate all of us here on A Penny or Two for Your Thoughts.
All right, we're going to get started here.
Okay.
And I haven't really actually done the intro for a really long time.
I know, because I keep like.
So we're just that. We're going. We're with it. Time.
I don't think he's really officially.
I'm hungry. Oh. Because you're hungry.
Great. Now my stomach's going to growl. Hey, everyone.
It's a penny or two for your thoughts.
It's Chantel and Liz.
Oh, my goodness.
But really, I should say Liz and Chantel because I'm the one that's talking. And
okay, we literally did this a month ago. We've been doing this for 3 years, and I feel like and my chair is like seeping down. I know. I keep going like this.
We've lost her. We've officially lost her, friends.
Okay. This is what I'm working in. I told you I was going to work this in because we were just saying it's kind of hot in here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
why does the song Nelly get stuck in my head as soon as you say that?
Hot seats. I can't do it. You know what? Yes. It is what is that? Phobia? Yes.
Yeah.
I cannot sit in somebody's seat after they've been in a meeting. It's hot and it's gross.
Did that happen in pricing today?
No, but right now the seat is hot because it's sinking down. I don't know what's happening.
Well, would you quit pressing the button? You can stand up.
I'm good.
Nobody has to stand up and push the button to raise the chair.
I did. And it keeps.
She does.
What you're telling me is that I'm a little too hefty for this right now.
No, you just were sitting on it and it doesn't go up when you sit on it.
Oh my God.
Hey, look at that.
Okay. Now,
I'm going to manipulate this the whole time.
All right.
Okay. We're going to get started here.
Is she sinking?
I don't know.
It felt like. Okay.
What's going on in our world right now?
I don't know, but I'm like.
No, I mean in real life.
Not what's happening in here per se, but what's happening out there.
This is the crazy.
School started.
Yes. School started. Traffic's crazy. But welcome back, kiddos.
Right.
We have a bet.
You do?
Uh-huh. We have a bet to see when Jace will get a detention for not turning his phone in.
Oh.
We've made it so far. Day's almost over, so I haven't got a call.
So he had half day yesterday, right?
Yep.
Half day yesterday, full day today.
Full day today. So junior in high school this year. Let's do this.
Well, you know what? It's 2:15. You might be getting texted right now with that school phone call. I don't know what they do these days.
Oh, the good old schools. You know what? This is going to be a good podcast today.
It is.
I feel
like our listeners are just going to get bamboozled with a lot of good information.
Wow. I bet you're right.
Yep.
I bet you're right. Let's roll.
All right. So today we actually have two guests. I'm going to start out with our first guest. She's a returning guest to the podcast. We've got with us Dawn Gonzales, Vice President of Community Relations. Dawn, welcome to the show again. You're back.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So gosh, we talk about this all the time. You are so incredibly busy. You stay very busy in the community. This last year, 2023, you actually launched an inaugural Centris Community Grant Program. That's kind of going to be the basis of our conversation today. So can you give us a little background on why that was such a passion project for you?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about our community work. And the grant program was something that I had in my brain for quite a long time. It was something that I wanted to do because I knew that there was needs in the community that weren't necessarily being met that we didn't know about. We get letters, emails, daily, weekly, all the galas. I was talking to another nonprofit a couple days ago, and on any given weekend, you can throw a rock, literally hit on the calendar a couple of golf tournaments, a couple of galas. There's plenty of things to do in this community.
Right.
But there's a lot of folks that are doing great things that we never hear about. And so through that community grant program, we knew that we would learn a lot about the needs in the communities that we serve, from North Platte to Council Bluffs and everything in between, that would allow us to just infuse some money into the communities that would make a bigger impact in those pockets. So in 2023, with a committee of 5 people, including myself, we put $50,000 into the community for $50,000 with the opportunity to get up to $10,000 of that 50. We wound up awarding 9 different grants from small amounts to 10,000,
Exceeding your goals, I would say.
100%.
I was
Yeah.
just going to say, what were your
Yes.
goals?
So our goal, when you start off on something like that, would 5 people apply? Would 20 people apply? I really didn't know. And I had reached out to my experts and give a shout out to Share Omaha and the Omaha Community Foundation. We talked about, what the process was going to look like. I talked to other nonprofits who had participated in their own grant applications, and we talked about timelines and what's appropriate. And I was hoping just for enough information for our committee to go, didn't know that this was a need in the community.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so today, our second guest that we've been keeping in the wings here.
Our listeners are like, who else is sitting there?
Yeah.
We want to
do.
know.
They talk about it all the time when we do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they do.
Yep. we get to say listeners with a plural S this time.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we're very excited about that.
One of our fabulous organizations that was part of the grant process. So Lee Denker, Executive Director with Papillion LaVista Community School Foundation. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Thanks
Thank you
for
very much.
coming in.
Yes. Thanks for
It's fun
chatting with us.
already.
Oh, goodness. Listen, that intro was just a bit of a hot mess, but that's how we roll.
Yep.
So here we go.
It's like a hot seat.
Don't sit in it. I warn you all.
Right.
Now you're all going to think about it.
We warn people.
Yeah. All right, Lee, are you ready to just dive in? We're going to ask the questions.
I'm ready to dive. I'm like a Chinese diver who won all the golds in the Olympics last week. Let's dive in.
Let's
Nice.
do it.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
All right, let's
Mhm.
go. All right. So tell us a little bit about the PLCS Foundation and what's your mission?
Well, the Papillion La Vista Community Schools Foundation is, as you might imagine, the fundraising arm of the Papillion La Vista Community School District, which is Nebraska's 4th largest school district located in Sarpy County with 12,000 students and 2 very fabulous high schools. You all know the
Yes.
Monarchs and Titans.
Yes.
Sure do.
And we're thrilled to be the fundraising arm. But some people don't know that our foundation also runs the before and after school care program for our elementary school children. So we have sites at all 16 of our district's elementary schools where we care for the kids. Mom and dad or guardian can drop the child off at school early and then pick them up late after work. So it allows the families in our community to be able to work outside the home
Very good.
and know that their kids are cared for at the same time.
Great.
That's great. Can you share a little bit about your background and how it actually led you to this role as the executive director?
Oh, I'd be thrilled to. Papillion is my hometown. This is you talked about Dawn's passion. Papillion in the Sarpy County area is my passion.
Forever and ever. You've been there. You've been there forever, right? Like the
Well,
Papillion
I
area?
started there
Yeah.
and left.
Ah,
And I'm a boomerang. I left.
That's
and
all
came
right.
back.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a boomerang.
Are you?
Yep.
Yeah. We all say we're never coming back. And
Yep,
look at
that's
us now.
right.
And then here we are.
And thrilled to be back.
Yep.
I grew up in Papillion. I'm a graduate of Papillion La Vista High School. My dad graduated from Papillion High School back when they had 28 seniors,
Oh, wow.
that's great.
1952. So we're and all 3 of my children went to Papillion La Vista South. So that is it's the district that I care about a great
Yeah.
deal. I was elected to the school board in the 2000 or around 2015 and served on that for a term, and served actually on the Papillion La Vista Schools Foundation for about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So when this position was open and the board asked me to come serve in this role, I was pleased to do so.
Good for you.
That's
That's
excellent.
amazing. It's amazing. So where do you see this going? How do you want to evolve the foundation?
Well, we would be nothing without community support. And when I say community, it's not just the parents and alumni, it's the folks throughout the Omaha metro area like Centris who have chosen to invest in our kids. We have needs in our community that are basic needs. I mean, the types of things that are putting food on kids' tables and keeping the heat on at night. We want to make sure that our kids are at school because we believe that they do better when they're in school.
Yep.
And sometimes there's family situations that occur. So we have some basic needs issues that need to be addressed. And we want to continue to address those needs as we go forward. Of course, we also need to continue to have our Kids Club program running as a top-notch program. Without that, our parents wouldn't have the ability to work outside the home and the community wouldn't be as strong as it is. So
Right.
we're hoping to continue to evolve the foundation, of course, as a strong kids club program, but also as a even more effective fundraising arm that can do more for the kids in our
Yeah.
community.
All of it's connected, right?
It's all
Every
connected.
Single part of it. That's great.
What's been the most rewarding part of your job so far?
There are so many things that are rewarding, and I'll tell you that I spent a good chunk of my career in higher education in alumni relations, which was fantastic and super fun. But when I had an opportunity to come back here and get even closer to the point of impact, that's been the most rewarding to me, because I'm going to tell you a story, and because this is one that actually I did not expect to happen, and I found myself at my computer in tears.
Okay, buckle
Okay.
up. Buckle up.
Cam, we need Kleenex.
She's got leaky eyes. So.
I do.
It caught me by surprise, and you're going to be fine. But
Okay.
We have a community closet that we support, which is the Papillion LaVista Community Schools Community Closet, and that's where families in need can come get free clothing and hygiene items when situations occur where they can't get them themselves. Again, we want to keep kids in school,
right?
And if clothing is a burden for them, we will help them with that burden. So I didn't realize this, but our community closet had used some of our funds to help a young man who wanted to play basketball up at one of our high schools, and was unable to do so because his shoes were not basketball shoes and he couldn't go on the court and play. So a school counselor accessed some funding through the community closet, and without even us knowing, all of a sudden I opened up my email and I had a note from her with a picture of this young man wearing shorts and a t-shirt and his brand new shoes. And he said, "I just want to tell you I made the basketball team, and I wouldn't have made it without you."
That's awesome.
Oh, the heart.
Yeah.
No, don't. I can see they're glistening. They're glistening. Her eyeballs are sweating.
Yep.
That's
weird.
that's being
cool.
very close to the point of impact.
Yeah.
And activities keep kids occupied, and in a number of cases out of trouble.
Right.
So let's get these kids involved in activities like basketball, band, drama, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
And sometimes all it takes is a pair of shoes.
Yes. Oh, that's so good.
I love that. That's like a perfect ending right there.
Can we just keep talking? I don't even want to ask questions anymore. Just keep talking. Tell us all the things. So we'll get back to the grant process. So what's the process for you for even starting to look for grants in our community that are available?
Well, we're probably very similar to a lot of nonprofits out there. We have a grants committee within our foundation that we're always researching opportunities for grant funding. And the magic part happens when we align our fundraising needs with the granting organization's funding priorities. Because every granting organization, whether it's a foundation or organization like Centris, has priorities that it wants to fund. And sometimes they match and sometimes they don't. So we'd be wasting a lot of time if we applied for everything.
Right.
So we do spend a lot of time researching it. And when we find the alignment, then we work hard to put a quality application together and submit it. And then we wait and hope that the funding arrives.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Dawn, because I was able to be on that committee with you. And I think what you said, finding the right fit, because just sending it to everybody, that doesn't help the process. It kind of dilutes it a little bit, right? Because there's so much coming in, but really get specific and know that which one to apply for, really. Right. That's going to meet your needs.
Well, and it also helps to know the organization that you're applying to.
Yeah.
And so we were a little bit familiar with Centris. Of course, I know Dawn, and there's some familiarity there.
Yeah.
So we didn't come in, I don't think, as an unknown organization.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I would recommend that to anybody who's going forward with
Very
grants,
good.
is to get to know the people behind the grant program, because then your chances of being awarded a grant are even better.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
It goes into that networking.
I will say that because we knew each other, didn't have any bearing. We knew a lot of the grant grant applicants.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're famous in Omaha.
She is.
She's so famous.
I know. You walk in a room and it's like, Dawn, and like,
That's Dawn.
It was Lee being very, very specific and intentional.
Yes.
And those were the grant recipients. I know that we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but being specific and intentional about what you want to use those funds for helped the committee really hone in on, here's the need, here's the area that we need to serve.
Yeah.
And the decision made it a lot easier to make.
Yeah. Tell your story.
100%.
And then that just helps us as we're reading through it to really visualize. I mean, we could visualize what you wanted, so that was a lot easier for the process. So.
Right. So what are some challenges and obstacles that you guys face when you are seeking funding from grants, and how do you find yourselves overcoming those?
fundraising for public education is challenging in a number of ways. I mean, think about it. Parents will often support their child's school. They'll go to the walkathon or whatever those athons are, or buy whatever booster club membership is there. But when you go out into the greater community, those of us who do this often hear, I already pay enough in taxes through my property tax. I don't need to give you any more money. You're fully funded. So I'm going to somebody who needs it more. And that's a valid concern. I'm a homeowner. I pay property taxes. I completely understand.
Right.
And everybody's, in fact, the legislature's talking about property taxes probably as we speak.
Right.
But the thing that if folks give us an opportunity to sit down and talk a little bit more, they'll understand that the needs are often greater than the property taxes and the state funding formula provides for. When you're in a district like Papillion, LaVista, you have folks of means, and you have folks who are at the free and reduced poverty level. So there's needs everywhere in between, and we're there to help them. So that's something that I think makes it kind of a challenge to raise funds for public education is it's publicly funded.
Right.
And this is money on top of that.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you had mentioned, talking, knowing which one to go to, or as you're researching which grants to kind of look at, and you had found that the Centris one made sense to you. So what did you use the funds for? What did it all look like? Oh,
And I will start by thanking you all. Anybody who had anything to do with Centris, the committee, the organizer, everybody, the leadership at Centris, thank you for supporting the community in this way. What a wonderful thing you do. In our case, I mentioned the community closet that our district started in 2021. Yes. That is something that tax dollars does not support. Tax dollars support education. It doesn't often support basic needs. And as I mentioned before, getting kids to school is a priority for us because when they're in school, they learn better and their lives are improved. So the community closet offers free clothing. Often it's gently used and all from donations. And we have been operating that way for the past 3 years. We've noticed, however, there are certain things that just can't be gently used, donated. And those are some of the socks and underwear, two very specific examples. So we have families who need clothing every year, and we always run out of socks and underwear because you have to have a variety of sizes for little kids and for kids in high school. There's a variety of sizes there. So we put a very specific request forward to this grant program asking for funds for socks and underwear. And I think we made a case that certainly got your attention, and thankfully so, because I can tell you that money was spent right away. And families were impacted from it. We took your grant funds and we purchased socks and underwear.
Oh, that's great.
For families in need.
Love to hear that. It worked.
Amazing. It did.
Very good.
Got to where it needed to be.
Yes.
Like I'm all warm and fuzzy.
I know.
Just love this.
I mean, we take socks and underwear for granted, don't we?
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the little things. I will say that when I was reading the application, my first thought was, you got to be kidding me. And I don't mean that as a negative, but it struck me kind of funny, like socks and underwear. Think about, and then as I read through it, I was in tears because it hit me. Holy cow, this is really a need that we don't think about. We think about donating clothing, but we don't think about donating those types of things. We know in certain populations that it's very important, but I don't ever think about school kids needing that because you always go back to what you know personally.
You always got socks and underwear.
Yeah,
the beginning of the year, that was a thing.
That was a thing.
It was just it was just happened.
The school supplies and everything else, and we've donated school supplies, but I never thought that was something that I should be doing. We donated the kids' clothing, but I never thought about socks and underwear, and it struck me. And because of how specific you were, committee didn't talk about this stuff. Like we're scoring these on our own, and that's the one that rose to the top. I think it all touched us very much it was very relatable.
Absolutely.
I know personally when I get a new pair of socks and I put them on, there's just something nice about it, right?
Right. He said socks.
Socks, yeah.
I mean, he was going to say, every
we're
time I get a
sticking
new
with the
pair of
socks.
underwear, you know, it's nice.
I mean,
Let's be honest here. We all know that.
This
I
is
mean,
my
not
first
about
time
you.
on your
I know.
podcast. I am not going there. It could be my last time on your podcast.
No,
Nope.
you are going to come all the time
Right.
and visit us, and it's going to be great. It's
Yep.
going to be great.
just next time we'll go to the other herdette.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
I'm for that. I'm all
I
for
would
that.
enjoy that.
Okay, I as
all
well.
right. All right.
What advice would you give to others who are considering applying for grants like this?
Well, I'll kind of repeat what I said. Do your research.
Yeah.
There are a lot of generous organizations out there who want to fund great causes, but they're usually pretty specific in what they fund. And so I have found it valuable when we find the research points us in a certain direction, that I'll get on the phone and call somebody there and say, we're thinking about applying for this. Would you give us any advice?
Mhm.
And sometimes they'll say, yeah, don't do it. I know from experience, our committee will not select something like that, or we don't fund organizations in this geographical area or
Sure.
such and
Yeah.
such. And then that saved our team a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And also maybe open their eyes like, oh, we need to be a little bit more clear in our criteria.
Right.
grant
Yeah.
applications are complex and
Mhm.
getting more complex.
We tried to keep it as simple as possible.
Yours was great.
Thank
Yours
you.
was great. Maybe
Right.
it was too simple.
No kidding.
But do your research.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's the key, and just understand where your priorities are.
Mhm.
Have data to back it up.
Yeah.
Data. I'm seeing more and more in grant requests. Data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Data is key.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kudos to those grant writers, because that is not an easy job either.
No,
You know,
it's tough.
trying to put that spin on it every single time and not feel like it's just, copy and paste and
Mhm.
rinse and repeat kind of thing, just tell
I mean,
your
you
story
got to
authentically.
you got to put your data. You got to make it into a story
Yeah.
that will be compelling. I mean, a case for support must be compelling
Mhm.
and truthful as well. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be genuine in it.
you have to be genuine and use data's great, but speak to the heart and to the head. And so
Yes.
use the numbers for the data and then the head, and then use the heart stories to get some attention.
Great
Yep.
advice.
Don, same question for you. What advice or guidance would you give to organizations looking to apply for a grant?
So, looking to apply for our grant specifically, it is focused on geography. So, make sure that you're looking at the counties, not the cities, because city of Lincoln is different than Lincoln County. Lincoln County is where our North Platte branch is located.
Mhm.
So, if you're in the North Platte community and you're listening and you're a nonprofit, please put your application in. We did have a big winner from there last year. So geography, and then think about our 3 community pillars: financial education, health and human services, and community betterment. And those 3 are really broad-based. They're broad-based intentionally. But those 3, and then your amounts, and the more specific that you can be, the better it is for our team to review that. I know everybody wants $10,000. That would be amazing to have $10,000 for a nonprofit, to be able to give that to everyone. But we had 9, and it was because they were so specific with the amount that they needed
Mhm.
and how they were going to implement that to make impact with the audience that they had. And I think that that's really it in a nutshell. Be specific.
Great. So you just said that you had 9 organizations that were chosen last year. Do you want to give a shout out to those individual organizations and maybe high level of what they've been doing or planning to do with their grants?
Yeah, of course.
That's great.
A Mother's Love, they got a grant to help purchase things like baby supplies and specifically travel systems. So when you think about a travel system, it's a car seat.
Yeah.
We've got a state law that says your kiddo has to be in a car seat. And if you can't afford one, who's giving it to you?
Mhm.
Right. So our grant dollars helped support that. It was travel systems, bassinets, encouraging healthy living for those families. Avenue Scholars was another grant recipient. Avenue Scholars does a lot of work in the community, like a lot of other mentoring organizations, but they're focused on moving kids into the trades. And so there were 752 students that benefited from the grant they received in programming, which is training support to make sure that what they're doing in an internship is preparing them for their next step in
Yeah.
higher education, trade school, etc. I know that we at Centris had an intern this year from Avenue
Mhm.
Scholars, and I got to give that a shout out just because it was such an amazing experience for our RT team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Blue Bucket Project was another one, and they used the grant they received from us to purchase trash pickup supplies. So if you think about the grabbers that you can use when you're picking up trash and you're not having to get your hands dirty, they purchased a bunch of those for adults and kids. So they went into Spring Lake Park and they supported that initiative through their trash flash mob. Say that 3 times
Oh, that's great.
Trash flash mobs are 1 hour of dedicated volunteer time in the Spring Lake Park to pick up trash, and they do it 5 to 7 times a year. Companies can call the Blue Bucket Project like we did and sign up for a shift and go make a difference in that space that the community uses. Community Action Partnership of Mid-Nebraska is another one, and it's actually the North Platte Senior Center. This one was a favorite for several of us because it was the purchase of a new hot and cold delivery truck. They serve 180 to 200 hot meals every week to North Platte senior citizens. And it was an amount, this is part of this whole process in applying for the grant. I want people to know that you may not have all of it, but tell us how much you have. Like they knew how much this truck was going to cost them, and it was very expensive. It was over $50,000 that they needed to purchase this vehicle. But our grant came in and got them over the finish line. So it's that type of stuff. Maybe the amount that you're asking for won't wholly fund it, but if you know how much you've got in the kitty already and how much you need, and they promised that they would keep saving until they got it. And the truck came faster than expected because of that grant, which is really exciting. Dibs for Kids was another one. Dibs for Kids purchased 500 books for Omaha Public Schools. And those books are used weekly. They have checkout system, which uses a QR code, and the books are in the classroom. So it's a little bit outside of their school library. They're in the classrooms, and they're books that they know kids will take home and want to love and read and experience the joy of reading. So they're used for 3 to 5 years, and that's the end life, 5 years or so. They've been loved so much that they need to replace them. But they have hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million checkouts over the last several years that they have implemented this program. And the 4,500 kids that are serviced by Dibs for Kids live in go to schools which are known as book deserts. So if you know what a book desert is, think about a desert. It's very dry, and it doesn't have a lot that's going on there from a vegetation standpoint. Book deserts happen in high poverty areas, and so this is really getting to the places that need to be so that we can start to end that chain of poverty.
Very nice.
Down Syndrome Alliance of the Midlands was another one. They distributed 225 World Down Syndrome Day class kits to elementary schools. They reached over 4,000 kids this last year in the metro area, and they were available to classes and schools that had children that had Down syndrome. So it lends to understanding, and when you have understanding, there's more acceptance.
Absolutely.
It's a great thing. Papillion LaVista Schools Foundation was another recipient, and we talked about the Socks and Underwear Fund that they had. Omaha Mobile Stage was another one of our recipients, and they used that programming, they used the funds for the programming to take into low and moderate income outdoor public spaces. So the events are always free, but when they're doing those events, you see an increase in public safety. You see an increase in the connection amongst the residents. So think about your local neighborhood park. They pull the Omaha Mobile Stage in. It gives kids an opportunity to perform, to learn new skills, dancing and music. And it's almost like a little recital in your park. Very cool. And then the last one was the Omaha, the Furniture Project. And if you think about donations for families in need, maybe you're transitioning to a new space. You've been homeless and you're going into a home of your own finally. Maybe you're a refugee family who has come to this country and you're needing everything because when you left the country that you were in, all you had was the shorts and the shirt and the shoes. You didn't have anything else. And so the Furniture Project allows for people to focus their money on other basic needs. They've got a place where they can go get a bed and a couch. And we know that when you've got nice surroundings, your health outcomes are much better.
Mhm.
It just, your mental health, especially.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I feel like all of these were so impactful, and it's stuff that we had, a lot of these we hadn't heard of before. So
That's I was just going to say that I had never heard of so many of these, and the furniture project in particular. At that time, we had some couches to get rid of, and I called them because of this, and they were the nicest group of guys to come and help get it into the truck, and they were so appreciative. And so learning from that as well is part of the community, is just knowing that they're out there, and you might not know about them if you don't,
Yep.
otherwise, are not involved as much. So it's great.
I think too, this has opened up opportunities for our employees,
Mhm.
which I also love, because it's exposing our employees to other places that they can serve.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree 100%. So you're about ready to launch 2024. Tell us all about
Monday.
it. Tell us all the details.
Lee's going to be excited to hear this.
Yeah, boy, can we apply again? Boy.
You sure can. You can apply again. No promises that there will be money
Nope,
there, but
there never is.
but please do apply again. I want to thank Liz and Chantel for all the work they've done to help me from just getting this project off the ground. They are the designers, the creators, to make all that stuff look beautiful on the public facing side. And so on the website on Monday, August 19th, we are going to invite nonprofit 501c3 organizations to apply for the 2024 grant. We've got another $50,000 that we want to push out. And you'll have 2 weeks to get the applications in. We close the apps on midnight, August 30th. And then our committee of 5 employees, and the employees that we have on this committee are all at a senior leadership level. They all have experience volunteering in the community. They've got board experience. They've got volunteer experience. They've got experience in multiple spaces from a volunteer board standpoint. And we're going to take the month of September. Last year, we had just a few weeks to get through it, and it was really kind of a rush, especially during the holiday season. We'd launched this in November. So we're going to take the month of September to read and score each application, and then we will make the announcement in October.
Exciting stuff ahead.
Yes.
Very exciting. So we're getting close to the end of the podcast, but we always like to leave our listeners with kind of a little nugget, what we call a penny or two for your thoughts. So Lee, we'll start with you. What are just a couple key takeaways that you'd like to leave our listeners with today?
Well, this is not a key takeaway, but again, please accept our thanks for what you do and for the generosity that you showed to our kids. And that kind of goes into one of the thoughts I have, and one of our I guess it's a line we like to use a lot, and that is, we all win when local kids thrive. In our case, we know who our local kids are. They're the families who fit within our school district footprint. But whoever is listening to this, wherever you live, you will win when your local kids thrive too. So find a way to help kids have a better life, whether it's through your school's foundation or some other way. I think you'll find it to be rewarding. Most donors do. They get just as excited to give as people are to receive their gifts, and it's just magic when that happens. So that would be my takeaway.
I love it.
Very good.
Okay, my takeaway.
Almost got me teary-eyed again.
Leaking
I'm a
eyes.
softie.
My takeaway, August 19th is when the grants kick off again.
Yes.
And the second one is I have a favorite song. It's Be a Light. And if you know the song that I'm talking about, you know what the message is. If you don't, you can take a look and see what those lyrics say. But I want to thank the nonprofits in our community for being a light, because that beacon provides hope for so many in the community. And that's so important. It's always important, but I think, we've been going through some crazy times since COVID. I know that we're 4 years out of that, but our world has changed. So much has changed since then. And being a light for others is a huge thing.
Absolutely. Thank you both so
thank you.
much
Yes,
for
thank you.
coming in. Lee, if anything, I want to say that you are such an amazing advocate for what you're doing. You're you can just see the passion pouring out of you. And I'm so glad that we were part of helping you. So you have thanked us, but thank you for just being here with us today and just supporting your local community so much and being such a amazing voice for that. So
This was fun to be here. Thank you so much.
Good.
Seriously, I'm like all warm and fuzzy for the day. I just love it. Like I'm not gonna get over that story with the kid in his basketball shoes.
Oh, well, imagine being at your computer, opening up the email and sitting there crying unexpectedly.
Right. You'd be like, did somebody cut an onion somewhere?
Yes, that's what happened. That's
my
But it only
gosh.
takes one. And I think
I know,
that
that's
whole thing.
it.
It only takes one.
yeah.
It just takes one.
Yeah.
He was so proud.
I
He
know.
was so proud.
So
I just
great.
love that.
Love
Ugh,
it.
Gonna choke up again. Whew. Here we go. Oh, it's not leaking.
Not leaking.
Right. Okay. Again, thank you both so much for taking time to join us today on the podcast, and both of you for the wonderful impacts that you have on our community. Listeners, thank you for continuing to download our show. We know you're out there. If you have any financial topics you want to learn more about, or just want to have us invite somebody in to have a chat with us, our email is apennyforyourthoughts@centrisfcu.org, and we'll find the right expert or friend to come on the show, and we will ask all the questions. Chantel and I don't mind asking all the questions. And if you want to help others find our show, you can rate, review, and share your favorite episode. And if you don't want to miss an episode, make sure you're subscribing to it. And for more great financial information, thanks to our pal back at the office, Megan, follow Centris on Facebook, Instagram, X, and LinkedIn, or you can check out our website at centrisfcu.org. Remember, guys, April 19th, that's Monday. Make sure August. Gosh, April? Where did April come from?
Well, it was several months ago, but it's okay.
It's okay.
Because now it's August.
Because now it's August.
We're here.
Right. Seriously, it went from April to August with a blink. August 19th. August 19th. That's the date you guys need to remember.
Yes.
And if you just want to chat with one of our amazing experts, you can give us a call at 402-334-7000. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks again for listening.
Thanks, everyone.